Let us start by first estimating the limiting moment capacity of the flanged section. By now, you are aware that there can be two possibilities of neutral axis location, and we had seen this in our earlier videos. The first case is on limiting neutral axis depth lying within the flange, that is, depth of flange is greater than equal to XU max. Here, flange width is subjected to complete stress block of concrete as shown here. This compression force, which is acting on the concrete above a neutral axis, will be 0.36 times FCK into effective width of flange VF into limiting neutral axis depth XU max. Since this section is balanced, reinforcement will reach its yield stress. So tension force will be 0.87 Fy times the tension reinforcement area AST. The distance between the compression force and tension force is separated by a lever arm Z given by effective depth D minus 0.42 times limiting neutral axis depth XU max. Now, limiting moment of resistance for this case can be obtained by multiplying either the compression force with lever arm or tensile force with the lever arm. The next case is on limiting neutral axis depth lying in the web, that is, depth of flange is less than XU max. This case has two subparts which are based on the position of rectangular stress block of concrete whose depth is 3/7 times neutral axis depth. So in the second case, the first subpart is the neutral axis lying on the web, that is, depth of flange is less than XU max, and the depth of flange DF is less than equal to rectangular stress block depth in concrete, which has value of 3/7 times limiting neutral axis depth. In this case, the compression force is split into two parts. One is on the web and another in the overhang flange portion. Compression force in the web is 0.36 times FCK into width of web BW into limiting neutral axis depth XU max. This force has a lever arm of D minus 0.42 times XU max. Now the compression force in the flange is 0.45 times FCK into area of overhang flange portion, which is width of flange minus width of web into depth of flange. This force will have a lever arm of D minus 0.5 times depth of flange. The limiting moment of resistance can be computed now by multiplying compression force in web and compression force in the flange with their respective lever arm. The second subpart of second case comprises of neutral axis lying on the web, that is, depth of flange is less than limiting neutral axis depth, and the depth of flange is greater than the rectangular stress block depth, which is 3/7 times limiting neutral axis depth. In this case, as can be seen here, non-uniform stress act on the flange. To simplify this, a constant stress of magnitude 0.45 times FCK is assumed to act at reduced depth YF in the overhang flange portion as shown here. This reduced depth YF is given as 0.15 times XU max plus 0.65 times depth of flange. The compression force is split into two parts. One is on the web and another in the overhang flange portion. Compression force in the web is 0.36 times FCK into width of web into limiting neutral axis depth XU max. This force has a lever arm of D minus 0.42 times XU max. Now the compression force in the flange is 0.45 times FCK into area of overhang flange portion, which is given by width of flange minus width of web into the reduced depth of flange YF. This force will have a lever arm of D minus 0.5 times the reduced depth of flange YF. The limiting moment of resistance can now be given by multiplying compression force in web and compression force in the flange with their respective lever arm. We will see now provision which has been given in IS 456-2000 for computing the limiting moment of resistance of flange section. you can go to clause number G2 in page number 96. Here we have the screenshot of clause number G2, which is related with flange section. As I said, we have two possibilities of neutral axis location. One is that the neutral axis is going to be less than the depth of flange. That is, your depth of flange is greater than XU. So here, if you want to compute the moment of resistance, you can go to clause number G1.1, and whatever provision or whatever formula has been given, there what you do, you replace this width of beam with width of flange. So if you do that, you'll be able to compute the moment of resistance. The next case is depth of flange less than the neutral axis depth. Okay, and if I talk about the first subpart, we had this as depth of flange is less than 3 by 7 times XU. Since we are talking about limiting moment of resistance, so depth of flange is less than XU max, we can write, and depth of flange is less than 3 by 7 XU max. Now here you see this term, what I will do, I will do some manipulation. I will write depth of flange by D is less than, let us take less than equal to 3 by 7 XU max by D. So I can do this. Now for Fe415 steel, this XU max by D is 0.48. So if I substitute here, I get dF by D less than equal to 0.2 for Fe415 steel. Similarly, for Fe500 steel, your XU max by D is 0.46. So if I substitute XU max by D value as 0.46, still I am going to get dF by D less than equal to 0.2. So what do you mean by this? It means that dF by D is not exceeding 0.2. So you read this clause. It is saying that the limiting value of moment of resistance of this section may be obtained by the following equation when the ratio dF by D does not exceed 0.2. So it is actually talking about which case? It is talking about this case. Okay, so I hope this is clear why the 0.2 is coming. So you can use this. So G2.2 is applicable for case when you have depth of flange less than XU max and your depth of flange is less than equal to 3 by 7 XU max. So accordingly, if you substitute the value of XU max by D in this expression, what you will find that even for Fe415 steel and Fe500 steel, you will get the value of dF by D ratio not exceeding 0.2. Now, if you come to this case, same thing is applicable. So, what is the second subpart? This is the second subpart. So, the second subpart was what? Your depth of flange is again less than XU max, and we had the depth of flange greater than 3 by 7 times XU max. So same thing we can do. We can divide this by D. We can divide this by D. And if I substitute the value of Fe500 for XU max by D as 0.46 or for Fe415 steel XU max by D as 0.48, what we are going to get? We'll get that your dF by D is greater than 0.2. So here it's saying when the ratio of dF by D exceeds 0.2. So this is how you compute the limiting moment of resistance. And if you observe this, we have got this kind of formula there also, whatever we have derived. If we get this d square inside and cancel this d, you're going to get the compression force in web. Okay, and in the bracket you're going to get the lever arm, and here also you're going to get the compression force in the flange, and in bracket you have this lever arm, and you can see this reduced depth of flange YF, and this expression has been given. Further, if you see this case, if this case is a case when your neutral axis is lying in the web, and it is saying you need to calculate the moment of resistance using G2.2 and G2.2.1. Now here you see when your neutral axis is lying in the web and it's stating that if df by xu does not exceed 0.43, you apply this formula. You remember, like again, I'll come over here. We said df is less than equal to 3 by 7 times xu. So if I do like df by xu is less than equal to 3 by 7 is how much? 0.43. So what is this case? This does not exceed 0.43. This is the case when your depth of flange is lying in the web and your depth of flange is less than equal to 3 by 7 times xu. So if you get this case that df by xu does not exceed 0.43, you can apply this formula. Only thing what you do, you replace xu max with xu in order to compute the moment of resistance. Similarly, when your df by xu is exceeding 0.43, you can apply this formula by replacing xu max with xu. So even if you do not know how those formula has come, but if you know the logic behind these formula, you are going to get the same expression what we have derived and whatever has been prescribed in the code.